Well, if that wasn't the perfect, miserable ending to the most miserable of miserable playoff rounds, round one of the 2022-23 playoffs, 2 weeks that will live in infamy, the wackiest set of results that you'll see, but not in this particular game. I will tell you this, if you strip everything down from what we do here on these daily videos as I give you picks for the NHL, I'm not gonna lie, there is a big piece of the teenager in me, because I want to tell you, anybody who's not from the New York area, I guess maybe they get this a little bit in Chicago with the White Sox and the Cubs, but when you have an intrastate rivalry, when you have an Islander-Ranger rivalry, it's not like you people go, oh, Ohio, Michigan. All your people are located together. When you're walking down the block in your town, you're waving, it's an Ohio State person, an Ohio State person. When you're talking about Islanders and Rangers, they're in your camp. Sometimes they're your family members. These are your own friends. So life is miserable when like the Islanders get eliminated from the playoffs and if the Rangers go on. You're dealing with misery on a day-to-day basis. So greedily, the teenager in me, hell, the adult in me, is pretty damn happy that the Rangers are out of the playoffs. They traded those picks. They built themselves a super team, a Vince Young dream team, and they wasted elite level goaltending from Shesterkin. If you look at the saves above expected, he's twice the next best goal. He was the top by a mile, and they still blew that series. So that makes me happy. The only thing that doesn't make me happy is that you, like me, probably had a couple of incorrect picks with that game, but there was one thing that was not incorrect, something that you should never even need me for. Game 7, you go under. Clenched ass cheeks, that's the way it is. Every Game 7 for the rest of time, I don't care who gets in your other ear. It's me in that original ear saying, bet the under. Even in games like this, two teams where you think maybe the scores can go through the roof, it's always under. You will eventually have your car. Now that first round is over, I will take a look at this change that has sprinkled its way into the second round. Because I'm not going to lie, the best teams, most of the best teams are not in the playoffs anymore. And we're taking what's left of it, and we're going to do the best that we can. And that starts tonight. We got 2 games, one in the East, one in the West, and the same Caesars Sportsbook promotion, where if you create a new account over on Caesars, your first bet is going to be risk-free up to $1,250. You just got to be over 21 and located in a state or province where sports betting is permitted. As I told you yesterday, 2022, 2023, I'm Patrice Bergeron. I gave those fist pumps on Sunday, and I'm just like, they sent me to the announce booth. My personal season, for me, not for all you, but for me, is a failure with the Avalanche. But I'm going to take a look at what we got here in round 2. And the first game that I'll look at are those Kraken versus the Dallas Stars. Now, I just mentioned about Igor Shesterkin having the highest saves above expected in the playoffs. Well, do you know who the next one was? Jake Oettinger. And Jake Oettinger, as that series progressed, became even more unbeatable. He grew even more confident as that was going on. And those home games in Dallas, they controlled thoroughly. They lost game 1 and then had 2 very convincing victories in Dallas. They closed it out in Minnesota, but I'm looking for Dallas to continue the strong play and Oettinger to continue the strong play. And I know those damn Kraken won in Game 7, but if you look at how that series progressed, the Kraken were outplayed in Game 7, straight up. They got dominated in Game 6. They still probably won't have McCann. We'll see. I saw their play trend downward as the series went out. Are they going to keep scoring the first goal? Because they had the luxury of scoring the first goal in how many? Oh, yes, 7 of 7 games, and they won 4 of them, barely. Are they going to be able to do that again with Oettinger out there? Are they going to hold those leads? Because Dallas is not just going to be a one-line team. As you saw in the last round, they traded for contributors. They traded for Domi, Dadonov, and that paid off in that previous round. I have to take Dallas in this game. Yes, there's a little bit of vengeance that I want, but still, when you look how Dallas played as that series went on, they were down 2-1, won 3 straight, and Oettinger is playing his best. So I'm going to take Dallas over the Kraken, And I also am going to take the, don't you know, bump it up, the under 6.5. And we can hold that. I'll combine it with something from the other game, but I'll take the under 6.5 for the Kraken and Dallas. As long as I got a goalie playing like that and a defense playing well in front of him, I'll always feel okay taking an under and bumping it up a little bit just in case it's 3-2. You get an empty netter and pairing it with something I really like from the other game. You'll have a couple of things to choose from in that Leafs game. But also, obviously, don't mind you doing Stars under 7.5. And then if you really feel that comfortable about the Stars, I like the Kraken to go under 2.5 goals just because of the way that Ottinger's playing. And with that being said, if I think they're going under 2.5, I wouldn't mind the -1.5 under 6.5. Yeah, the puck line totals combo, and obviously that's going to give you pretty big money. So that pretty much concludes that game. And what can you pair that under 6.5 with if you bumped it up? I'm loving how Alex Barkov progressed in that series. We found out that he was sick early in the series. Then you saw his production start to ramp up. I know everybody's going to be looking at Brady Tkachuk, and I know Barkov's looking at like a -240 line or something like that. But if you combine that with the under 6.5 from the first game that we're going to bump up, that will take you to a good plus money if you put those two together. As far as that game goes, Toronto, if you look at the metrics and all those underlying metrics in their opening season, even if you watch the games, they honestly outplayed Tampa Bay one game. We didn't even see very good hockey coming from Toronto. Now, there's two ways to look at that. Like, oh my God, that's awful. Or number two, wow, they won a series in 6 games and they didn't even really play good hockey. So it's basically a question of who are we trusting most? A team coming off that high of beating the Bruins in 7, or a team who finally got the monkey off their back and beat Tampa in 6? I'm of the belief, since we haven't seen Toronto play very well yet, I'm more likely to skew over to Florida's side. But does that mean I'm going to take Florida to win the game? No. What I really want to do is take both teams over 1.5 goals, and then I'll take Florida plus 2.5. If it's a 3-2, they let in an empty netter, because I do think this game could go either way, and I truly think we have not seen Toronto play a great game, but I don't trust Florida's defense. They blew a 2-0 lead in that Game 7 against Boston, but then they're so talented with some of their offensive players, they were able to come back late in the third, win in overtime. I think there's a lot of different ways that Florida game can go. Player props might be a good way to go in that one, but I will take Barkov to register a point, both teams over 1.5, and the Florida Panthers plus 2.5. That's what I got for you here on a Tuesday. Round 2, we'll see. It ain't going to be worse than the second half, because remember, the first half of that last round was great. Bad half to round 1. Let's start round 2 like we started round 1. I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully with smiles on all of our faces. Good luck to you. Better luck to me. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Chopper channel here. I'll see you then.